Devin Patrick Kelly, the gunman who killed 26 people at a Texas Baptist church, suffered 3 gunshot wounds, including a self-inflicted shot to the head, Texas authorities said Monday. Kelly, 26, was also shot in the leg and torso by an armed citizen, said Freeman Martin of the Texas Department of Public Safety, citing autopsy results. It was not immediately clear whether Kelly died from the self-inflicted gunshot wound or from being shot by the resident. A day after the worst mass shooting in Texas history, the U.S. Air Force and Department of Defense said they are probing how records of a domestic violence conviction the gunman received while in the Air Force, which would have disqualified him owning a firearm under federal law, were handled. The U.S. Air Force acknowledged it did not appropriately relay Kelly's court-martial conviction for domestic assault to civilian law enforcement, as required. Initial information indicates that Kelly's domestic violence offense was not entered into the National Criminal Information Center database by the Holloman Air Force Base Office of Special Investigations, an Air Force statement said. A federal law enforcement official tells CNN that federal authorities have found no records they were notified of the conviction. Kelly served at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico from 2010 until his discharge, according to Air Force spokeswoman Ann Stefanik. He was court-martialed in 2012 for assault on his spouse and assault on their child, according to Stefanik. He served a year in confinement, received a bad conduct discharge and had his rank reduced, she said. Authorities gunman had domestic problems. Kelly killed his grandmother-in-law during the attack, multiple friends of the woman told CNN. The gunman was obsessed with a domestic dispute, and had sent threatening text messages to his mother-in-law. He texted her as recently as Sunday morning, not long before he carried out the mass shooting, authorities said. We know that he expressed anger towards his mother-in-law, who attends this church, Martin said. The gunman's grandmother-in-law, Lula White, was the grandmother of Kelly's wife and often volunteered at the church, according to friends and her Facebook profile. The friends asked not to be named as the family has decided to not speak to the media about White's death at this time, though a few have posted on social media. Texas Governor Greg Abbott called the massacre the largest mass shooting in the state's history. Latest developments before the shooting, authorities say Kelly looked suspicious at a nearby gas station. He was obviously suspicious to others based on the way he was dressed in all black, Martin said. He said Kelly also had a black mask with a white, skull-type face on it, but it was unclear whether he was wearing the mask at the gas station. Kelly was wearing a ballistic vest with a plate on the front, Martin said. 10 of the 20 people wounded remain in critical condition Monday, authorities said. And virtually no one at the church was left unscathed, Wilson County Sheriff Joe Tackett said. I think nearly everyone had some type of injury, the sheriff told reporters Monday. After Kelly left the church, he was confronted and shot by an armed resident, Stephen Williford. After Kelly was shot, he called his father, telling him he didn't think he was going to make it, Martin said. That's when Kelly shot himself. It was not immediately clear whether Kelly died from the self-inflicted gunshot wound or from the shot by the resident. However, investigators found evidence at the scene that indicates the subject may have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Martin said. Investigators have reviewed video footage from inside the church, Martin said. Texas school district superintendents said the Floresville Independent School District lost 2 students, while 3 others were injured. 1 student was killed and 3 others injured from the La Vernia Independent School District. It's devastating. It's very difficult for the families. Our staff members are just so upset, and these children are their children, Floresville Superintendent Sherry Bays said, tearing up.